This is a 2024 Fiat 500e inspired by beauty in rose gold. It has 114 horsepower and 167 pound-feet of torque. It's fully electric with about 117 miles of range. The other thing is you can actually DC fast charge this up to 85 kilowatts. It's a 42 kilowatt hour battery pack. The interior color is cream. It has one pedal driving, lane departure warning, a 7-inch infotainment display, and a 10.25-inch touchscreen display. It has Sirius XM, 6 terrible speakers, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and Alexa, aka Bezos, is built right in. It also has level 2 ADAS driver assist, and this specific one has an MSRP of $37,595. So the question we need to answer today is this worth $37,000 considering the Hyundai Ioniq 6 is in that range, the Tesla Model 3 is in that range, there's a lot of electric vehicles in that range. Is this one worth it? Let's start with the exterior of the vehicle. Rose gold. Now, I can't really say anything about exterior colors because I had a pink Tesla Model Y, so, you know, there's not much I can say. I love that it says La Prima, and then it says 500, their traditional 500 logo, with the E for electricity right there. Also kind of funny, it has Mopar sticker on the window there. That's just kind of funny to the Hellcat owners. This is the same as a Hellcat. Decent looking wheels, no exhaust pipe because it's fully electric. We're saving the planet. It's also kind of funny here. I thought the trunk space was surprisingly large. It dips down here, so you have your charging cable down there. And you also have the smallest trunk cover known to man. Look at that thing. What is even the point? If you want to fold the seats down, you have these buttons right here that you press, and then the seats will fold flat. You can get them to fold flat if you just move those seats up, and then you're able to move them back, and then you click those back into place. Now, one unique feature of this car that I think is cool is it says Fiat all in the stitching all across the leather seats. So I think that that is a cool feature. Now, to get into the rear of the car, you pull this. I thought I almost pulled the seat out of the car. And then you dive into the back. There's no room to be sitting back here. I don't know what the point of these back seats are. I guess you could move the front seats up a little bit, but there is truly no room back here. Also the skinniest center console of all time. Nothing in there, just a dark hole. And I don't know about you, but that's not really inspired by beauty. Now, the screen here, you can see we do have wireless Apple CarPlay. That is a 10.25-inch touch display, so it's fairly responsive. So I think that's a nice feature. I also really like this stitching along here. I think that that's a nice touch to the car and certainly inspired by beauty. The other thing, it's a fixed solid roof. There's no panoramic roof or anything like that. Again, that lets the AC and everything run more efficiently. I'm kind of tired of the panoramic roofs right now, so that's nice. And then there is a 7-inch digital display there that you're able to see, and you can go through various features in the infotainment. So I think that is also a nice feature of the vehicle, along with the two-tone leather steering wheel, which has a nice feel and look to it. But let me get out of the rear of this thing. My God, birth is easier. It's also crazy, for $37,000, it doesn't even have a powered seat or floor mats in the rear of it, so that's interesting. Now, something else that's inspired by beauty are shirts from INTOTHEAM.com. This is their Electric Escape t-shirt. This is a collaboration that I did with them, and you can go on their website and you can use code Gjeebs, and that will save you 10% off this and anything else on their website. I love their basic tees, their athletic tees. They've been a partner on my channel for 3.5 years now, so they've been excellent. Really comfortable t-shirts. I've done 3 collaborations with them and shirts I've co-designed. So this is one of them with the vintage look to it. And they also have some athletic shorts that they just released, which I also like. So go to INTOTHEAM.com, use code Gjeebs at checkout. You can stack that with any sales that they currently have going on. I've always said you're going to be buying t-shirts, you should absolutely try their basic tees. You can get them with or without a logo. INTOTHEAM, thank you for sponsoring this video. And guys, thank you for using my code at INTOTHEAM.com. So it's kind of funny, they've taken this button here from the Stellantis vehicle family and just thrown it in the EV with an engine. So other than that, it's pretty bare bones. So you have your volume switch here, and you can depress it and that will turn the sound off. You have your e-brake you can pull right there. And then you also have your drive modes. So this actually has 3 different drive modes. So you have normal, okay, whenever it decides to switch. You have normal, you have range mode, and then you have Sherpa mode. So in Sherpa mode, you can actually see right here that the mileage is going to increase. So we're at 110, now we're at 121 miles of range. And that's just to give this the maximum amount of range. So it's currently 104 degrees outside, and we are going to run this thing with no air conditioning to get a little bit more range out of it. So I think that that'd be really smart. The other thing here, I mean, I'm gonna die just in this moment. All right, we're back into normal mode. The other thing that's interesting is in Sherpa mode, it turns off the air conditioning, but when you turn it back into normal mode, the air conditioning still stays off. So we need to turn that to auto and get that blasting. These switches down here, this is responsive obviously for the volume. Also, when you go to touch the volume, you inadvertently rub your passenger's leg, which is interesting because I do find myself less attracted to women in this car, if you know what I mean. Yeah, this switch though is very laggy and the display doesn't update anything. I'm hitting the switch up and down and nothing is happening up there. So I think that's kind of weird. Also, there is no shifter in the car, so you just have these switches up here, which for an EV, it doesn't really matter. And you have this nice area up here to lay your phone down with the outline of probably Italy, I would think. I think that's Italy right there. So let's take this thing for a drive and see how it is. All right, so let's put this thing into drive and we're off. Seating position's not bad, visibility's good, the turning radius is remarkable. And I was trying to think, like, who is actually going to buy this car simply because of the cost of it? And there's probably incentives at your local dealership, so check that out. I don't talk about tax incentives that much because I think the cars need to sell themselves without the incentive. The other reason is they're constantly changing. So it's just best that you would go to the dealership or whatever and ask there or educate yourself, see what the current news is because it changes so much. Things qualify, things don't qualify. So I like to just review the car and that's that. So, but who's going to buy this? I guess if you were in a city center and you had tight parking spots, you wanted to be in an electric vehicle, you don't need to haul people. Maybe you just have a dog or something like that. Maybe you just have a cat because you can't even get a dog to stay with you. It's just an interesting vehicle. If it was 25 grand, okay, I have a totally different perspective, but $37,000, I mean, that's a lot for such little vehicle. I mean, you could get a Nissan Versa or something like that, and yeah, it's a gas car, it's an efficient gas car, but for 18 or 20 grand. So I just think that's interesting. And I also think the car doesn't do anything really cool or unique. It's just a battery version of the Fiat 500. If I'm getting a Fiat, I'm getting the Abarth, which sounds incredible. Now, another unique feature on this thing is when I turn it off, listen to the song it plays. So when you turn it off, it plays part of Joy to the World. I don't know why, but it's inspired by fashion. All right, so we're gonna do an acceleration pull here. Yeah, baby. That was a 0 to 27. I mean, there's one thing that this thing does well, and that is protect you from ever getting a speeding ticket. You will never get a speeding ticket in this. I mean, here, I'm gonna floor it. It's remarkably slow, but again, it wasn't advertised as a fast vehicle. I love the steering wheel. The steering wheel has great feel to it. You got all your controls right in front of you here. Air conditioning seems to work nicely. Again, the car has no tint on it, so that's always a good test there. AC working nicely, which as a Tesla owner is something that you have to talk about because Tesla, for some reason, their air conditioning, they can't seem to figure it out. Now, the other thing to talk about is the sound system. It has 6 speakers. It's awful. There is no bass. It is very flat sounding. It sounds about as good as your cell phone does on full blast. So the sound system's really bad. Really nice high quality display here, so I'll give them that. Let's see if we can overtake this truck merging. Okay, the Avalon is blocking us, never mind. Nope, the Avalon's opening up, we're going. Jeez. Ride quality is good, seat comfort is good. I'm 6 feet tall, Andrew's 6'3". We're fitting nicely up here, so I think that that's fine. It's fairly loud in the cabin. I find myself kind of yelling to get to say anything, and I gotta let people, I can't be the aggressor on the road either. I have to let others go ahead of me. and then give it the beans. But yeah, it's fairly loud in the cabin. Doesn't get a ton of range, but this isn't, you know, that's not the point of this vehicle. There's other electric vehicles you can get with more range. This is definitely a city-going vehicle, but with it having such a small battery pack, a road trip in this probably wouldn't be awful. I don't recommend it, but you could probably do it, and it would be okay because it's such a small pack.
I'm sitting here editing this video. Fully disregard what I just said about taking it on a road trip. You'd be better off hitchhiking. Back to the video.
Yeah, certainly loud on the road, and the other thing is that not having a great sound system means you're going to have it turned up and blown out all the time, so that could potentially be a problem as well. The way I look at this vehicle is this is a compliance vehicle. You know, they were probably just trying to get something out there in the EV world, and it's not bad in terms of it would be very functional for around town. You could charge it at home very easily, get back and forth to work and doing errands, and have very little cost of ownership. It's to me, though, there are other options out there that are far more appealing than this, specifically because of what it costs. If it costs about $10,000 less, then you could have a conversation about it. There's just a bunch of other options out there. See what your local incentives are on this thing, and then go from there. Now, if you want to see what it's like to do a cross-country road trip in a non-Tesla using all the third-party charging, click this video right here. I drove my Rivian R1T across the country and had to use other chargers, and it was interesting to say the least.